Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
Of all the stories that you have ever written, which one is the most memorable one and why?
Two, I want to say one. Two, presidential elections in Benin Republic in 1996. After prolonged military rule just like Nigeria, then they had a period of political crisis, instability, then they had a national conference, and then they now said the country was going to return to civil rule. And I was an assistant editor and member of the editorial board of the Vanguard, and Local Sam, the publisher, was also encouraging me to do some political. So I was sent to Benin Republic to cover the presidential elections. I do not speak French. On my way, by the time I got to the border had been shut down by the the Beninois side, which was the practice, anytime elections and so on. I had to return to Badagry, stay in an hotel, and by dawn the following day, I had to get some guys to take me through illegal routes. Tracked, the routes that would become. So, took me through, bribe, and then found myself in Cotonou. I was the only Nigerian journalist from Nigeria here that covered that year's presidential election. And I was so happy that I was finding the stories, and the stories were being run by the newspaper. That's memorable. Memorable was my coverage of the Ikeja bomb blast for Voice of America, when I was already reporting for the English to African service. Incidentally, I started the International Press Center, but I was in my office that day when the building shook in our former office in Caterpillar bus stop in Ogba. And then I came out and saw people running, saw the smoke, moved around, got information that I was a bomb blast. And I quickly did an email to my editor, Bill Eagle, and said, something was happening. And then he said, heard the story. So I had to go to Ikeja, Atonement, did the first story, and I did about 10 consecutive stories on the Ikeja, bomb blast, including the one that happened the day the then chief of army staff visited the cantonment, and there were still, explosions, and followed it up. I think that was memorable because it made me to earn some good foreign currency there.
In the course of your career, which has been the most memorable interview that you have conducted?
The interview I had with Maria Shokenu when she was the chairman of People's Bank. I think that was quite memorable because she was chairman of People's Bank, and after the interview, she really wanted to appreciation, and I think what she probably brought out was some meat, and I said no. But we're running a column there called Women in Development for National Concord. That was memorable. My interview with Chief Mrs. Nike Akonde was also memorable. I met her in one of the industries in Oshodi, of which she was probably chairman of board. It actually struck me. I feel that was also memorable of some of the interviews that conducted. The story I did in 1992 at Port Harcourt, when there was a crisis over the appointment of an acting chief judge, was memorable, not so much because of the story, but because of two things. The person who took me around, who was my link person, leading me, taking me around, so I should interview to get my facts together, was George Amakere, the journalist whose head was
shaped with bottle.
with broken bottle by Dex Spieth when he was military governor of the old River State. So meeting him, helping to put me through, was memorable. In the course of doing that story, it led me to other stories deliberately. We were to have some interviews in the government house, and then he said, Lanre, we have to get to government house very early in the morning. I didn't know why. Other judge was governor of River State then. And then we got to the state secretariat, and behold, for the first 1 hour of the day, when it's supposed to be working hour, it was full of prayer. People doing prayer, speaking in tongues, doing all kind of thing. And he just stood there and shook his head. I said, that's the kind of thing, we're seeing, in our state. So it's no longer one memorable, now it's becoming many memorables. The interview I had with Madaki, the then called Madaki,
John
Remember what they call the jungle experts.
Colonel John Madaki.
Colin was Colin there, you know. One of my friends who used to cover the airports, aviation correspondent, Tola Fadairo was quite close to him. So they were to open Fort Obasanjo and then interviewed him. And he spoke about his experience as a jungle expert, fighting in the jungle in the Congo. And when they were trying to have Abuja as the capital, how he used to go all alone to Abuja in the bush, erect tents, and just, so you really had some tough, I mean, those were some of my memorable interviews.